What up, my friends? How you doing? How are you doing this fine Thursday evening? I've decided I've decided that tonight I want to talk about what's next for Magic lore because we're in a weird spot for that. So it feels like an interesting subject of discussion. I also want to talk about movies that have come out this year. Not that I've really seen any. I'm basically wanting to talk about what's new and what's going down. But mainly, it is my main thoughts are about the Magic lore. But anyways, before I start to ramble, let me grab the live stream link, share that in the Discord, and then we shall be off and I guess not running, off and sauntering? I think sauntering sounds good. That is the pace that we will go at. Okay, there and there we go. All right, that's good. So let us do our hellos. What up, Jess, Eng, Zircon, Total, Octopus, Lewis, Sheba, Error, TCG Dude, Potts, Yaya, JH, Jess, Gerthulu, Kensuke, Otto, Larry, Dunn, True, Gianna, Yamagoro, Rain, I think that's everybody. All right. Hello. Hello to everybody who has assembled. How are you guys doing on this Thursday evening? We're leading into the weekend now, and my thoughts had turned to Magic the Gathering lore because we are getting ready to move into Final Fantasy spoiler season, and the, Tarkir lore is now in the rear view mirror. What up, cheese? So we're in a very weird spot for Magic lore on a couple of different levels. One of them is the fact that the Magic lore isn't very deep anymore at all. We went from 3 novels per world to maybe 5 essay-length articles for an entire world, to the point where, for example, with Tarkir, we didn't get to see the Dragon Lords get cast down. We didn't get to see the new Spirit Dragons in any capacity whatsoever, right? So, I mean, if you want to be one of those actually technically people, you can be, well, I mean, they talked about the Spirit Dragons and showed them during that artist performance in the first part of the Tarkir story, where it's just a bunch of actors portraying them on a stage. That doesn't count. That doesn't count as them being in the actual story, right? They have no impact in the story. We're just told, oh, it's a big deal that this happened. This ritual happened, and also that ritual can be converted to turn Sarkin into a dragon again somehow as well. And not in any way that will feel meaningful throughout the story, because Sarkin will be a dragon who can take over all other dragons until he can't. So the story will show us Sarkin taking over Abzan dragons like it's nothing. And then Abzan dragons later show up and just don't get taken over by him while he's taking over all these other dragons too. And you just go, how? How is he not able to take over these new dragons that have just shown up, right? There's no explanation for it. None whatsoever. They don't go, well, actually, we've created some magic to counter Sarkin's influence. None of it. It's just, you showed us dragons specifically from the Abzan with riders being taken over by Sarkin and turning on and killing their riders. And now you have Abzan dragons showing up and just fighting Sarkin. Care to explain that? Listen, just focus on the fact that Sarkin's now fighting a building because the building is his main enemy. What? Yeah, Sarkin showed up and was like, that temple's my main enemy to take control of dragons. What? And the whole story, they're talking about dragon storms. Dragon storms, 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 dragon storms. You get to the end of the story. Oh, Nicol Bolas is back. Okay, but what about the dragon storms? What do you mean? Well, shouldn't you write some lines in the story about how how the dragon storms get ended? This is the dragon storm arc. We've been in this arc for like a year and a half now. This is the culmination of that arc. And they're like, Nicol Bolas is back. Okay. What about the dragon storms you kept yelling about? No, we're not saying anything about it really at all. People have tried to tell me, no, they got solved because Ugin showed up and said to the dragons, you've been acting like whelps since I was gone. Oh, so Ugin said to some dragons that they've been acting like whelps? Yup. Okay, but what about the dragon storms? Excuse me, he said to dragons they've been acting like whelps. So, that means that dragon storms are gone. How? What are you talking about? The dragon storms came about and got more corrupted as a result of the dragon ritual that was done with the spirit dragon showing up. You know that, right? Well, but Ugin said they were acting like whelps. Okay, and how does that stop the dragon storms? Well, listen, man. Listen. The story's over, and that's the only sentence that could possibly maybe somehow be connected to it. So, like, it's obvious, bro? No, it's obvious they didn't do anything about the dragon storms. Like, that's what's obvious. That's what's obvious. It's goofy. It's goofy. So yeah, the story for Tarkir didn't feel like it didn't feel like it was a satisfactory culmination of the Dragonstorm arc. Not that the Dragonstorm arc felt satisfying in any way. The only part of the Dragonstorm arc that actually felt like it mattered at all was the Bloomborough part of it, where the Dragonhawk literally brought storms with him and was the equivalent of a calamity beast that overall influenced what was going on the world, it felt like. But other than that, you had the dragon illusions from the past that showed up in Duskmourn and did nothing. Literally just were illusionary and weren't coming from a dragon storm, but they went, it's dragons, so it counts. And then in Aetherdrift, dragons just showed up at the end during the race. Oh no, dragons are here. And Elspeth's like, I also have showed up. I too will fight them. Okay. Whatever. You know what I mean? It meant nothing. It meant nothing. And that was a year and a half. That was a year and a half worth of lore. Jess, you don't know any lore, so it sounds like I'm making stuff up and can't tell if it's true or not. All right. Well, how about this, buddy? I'll add some more in for you, because everything I've said so far is true. I'll add some more random stuff in for you. In the Tarkir story, Johnny, even though he is a cat, and they would normally eat their meat raw, he says he's not allowed to eat his meat raw from the antelopes that he's killed, because he was once a Phyrexian, and he feels guilty about it. So instead, he's going to cook the animal's meat and use all the parts of its body. So that happens. And Narset, the enlightened master, Narset, the enlightened monk who has great knowledge, basically goes ahead and likes to hang out at a cafe. Basically, like a tavern, right? So she likes to hang out at a tavern, but she also can't handle the noise in a tavern. So it gets too noisy in the tavern, and Narset the Enlightened Master starts to have a panic attack. And she calms herself down by counting on her hands and presuming people's genders. And if you thought it already sounded ridiculous, that's the story, bro. I didn't even make that up. I'm not making random things up. I'm telling you what happens in the actual story for Tarkir, bro. That's what happens. That's what happens. It's ridiculous. Jack, no, I'm not trolling, bro. You don't believe me? Go read the first. It's there in the first installment of the Tarkir story. Narset likes to go to this tavern, but she can't handle being in the tavern because it's too noisy, has a panic attack, and calms herself down. That's literally worded that way in the story. It talks about her presuming people's genders. And a little boy also later on gets worried that he might be offending people by calling Elspeth a lady without knowing her actual chosen pronouns. Like, I wish that I was making it up. But more lines of text were dedicated to Narset having a panic attack than resolving the Dragonstorm arc. There was one sentence. You whelps have been acting up while I was away. That's it. That's supposed to resolve all the Dragonstorms and everything that's happened. More time was dedicated to literally Narset's panic attack. I love the tavern. It's too noisy. It's too noisy. It's too noisy. Sorry, I thought you were like an enlightened monk or whatever. So, yeah, it was honk bag nonsense, bro. Honk bag nonsense. I mean, at least the Tarkir story, I could actually technically read it, you know? With the Aetherdrift story, I gave up. The first installment of the Aetherdrift story started talking about how Chandra's sitting at a cafe drinking a cappuccino or something. And the paparazzi show up. You know, Lady Gaga paparazzi. So the paparazzi show up. And Chandra, it's the story's like, Chandra knew how to face multiversal horrors, but she never learned how to deal with the paparazzi. Okay. So, you know, it's Aetherdrift. Vroom, vroom, beep, beep. So, all of a sudden, she gets inspired and goes, I know what you guys really want to know. Can I go fast? And the answer is, yes, I can. Check it. So, my dad used to speed all the time. And he got speeding tickets all the time. And I was sitting in his lap when he got those speeding tickets. What? Your dad, like the wanted rebel that the government would have jailed for sure and probably executed? Yeah, him. So the cops pulled him over when he was speeding? Yeah, huh? And they didn't arrest him or nothing? Yeah, huh? And they gave him a speeding ticket? Yeah, huh? And that's how come you can drive fast, huh? Yeah, huh? Oh. Very cool. Very deep. Very awesome lore. Like, what? What? And they also introduce us to Sita Varma, who is she is the daughter of a rich man, comes from a rich, noble family, right? But she likes to sneak out and race the race cars. Vroom, vroom, I'm a racer. Woo, woo, woo. So she sneaks out at night when her daddy don't know to go racing. And then she comes in. She comes in and she sneaks back into the house going, man, it's easy to sneak in and out now that there are no servants. And then like 2 sentences later, her dad's like, Sita, why didn't you get up on time today? She's like, I missed my alarm. And her dad's like, why didn't you have one of the servants wake you? I didn't feel like it. Sorry, but you just said there are no servants and that's why you can sneak in and out. And now you're talking to your dad about your servants. Yup. And also, now here's what I'm thinking in my head. My dad is mad. You know why he's big mad? Because we have to pay the servants now. So you do have servants. Yup. And they get paid now. Yup. And they didn't get paid before. Yup. So there was slavery on the original Kaladesh world that they gave us. No, well, listen, you're just supposed to take away the fact that Sita is anti that. Don't think about the fact that we're retroactively adding slavery to our previous Kaladesh world that we designed and never bother to mention the slavery. Just be like, wow, she's really cool because she hates slavery. Like, we all don't fucking hate it. What the fuck, right? So you just go, what is going on? And her dad's like, you smell like aether fumes. What? You smell like aether fumes. It's supposed to be like, you smell like gasoline from driving, right? You smell like aether fumes. Did you sleep with the window open? So the entirety of fucking Kaladesh Avishkar just smells like gasoline. And if you leave your windows open, then it'll smell like magic gas. So like, it was so awful. So awful. I couldn't make myself read it. I could not make myself read it. True, Aetherdrift didn't make any sense to you. It didn't feel like magic. Of course it didn't feel like magic. You know why? There's nothing about it that was actually magic. They literally just went, okay, look, we've got cars that just look like technological cars. They're not magical. There's nothing magical about them. So why are they magic? Because they're powered by magic, idiot. Okay, what about the ones who come from the Mad Max world? Well, they actually really love gasoline. Sorry, what? Yeah, they come from a plane where they use gasoline, and they're looking for more gasoline. I thought this was magic stuff. Shut up, idiot. It's Mad Max. Don't think about it. So anyways, they're looking for gasoline. Okay, and some of them drink gasoline. What is going on? Well, we had extra artwork of vampires, like, drinking up Phyrexian oil, and we didn't know what to do with it, so we're just slush art gas guzzler. Eat our dicks, bro. The whole thing, it made no sense. It made no sense. They're literally like, oh, check it out. The race is going through Amonkhet. Here's Hazaret, and you can see the racetrack behind her. And you're like, Hazaret, the survivor of Nicol Bolas's destruction of her entire world. Her entire world was warped and destroyed by Nicol Bolas. And they've now managed to gain their freedom, and they're rebuilding the world. Yup, and here she is in front of a racetrack. Okay, I got one question for you, Chief. What's with her spear? What do you mean, what's with her spear? She's wielding a Nicol Bolas spear, bro. What? She's wielding a spear in reverence to Nicol Bolas. You know, like when she was in service to Nicol Bolas. So maybe you should change that spear so that... Listen, we only had time to paint Hot Wheels tracks in the back. Shut up, idiot. Obviously, she's got a Nicol Bolas spear because she, like, hates him, and she rubs it in the dirt, and she sticks it in dog dew and stuff, bro. So, like, for real, this makes perfect sense, and it's not a bunch of slush garbage. Also, check it. The insect racers are really cool. Well, it looks like you just took pre-existing insect humanoid characters you had and literally inserted a car under them. Like they're standing on top of a car. Who the fuck stands on top of a car like that? No, shut up. The insect people are really cool because check it, bro. Check it. When they get old enough, they shed their exoskeletons. You know how insects can do that? They can shed their exoskeletons. Yup. And then when they do, they turn into cars. What? They turn into cars with like fucking tires and shit, bro? Like rubber tires? Yeah, huh? Whoa, that's so cool and magical and not dumb at all. Like, what the hell? Hermes, yeah, she sleeps with the windows open to huff them fumes. Sheba, yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, Jack, you just went and read it. It's literally as it was said. You didn't. I don't fault you for not believing me, right? Because what I said is pure absurdity. And I would think if somebody said that to it, be like, shut up, man. I get you like talking smack, but that's not what happened. That's not what happened. And then you go and check it out, and it's like, oh my God, that is what happened. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You want to know about the vampires that were drinking glistening oil? Well, go look at the 3 cards they're on. That's all you'll get. That's all you'll get. Break stop, you still remember when I broke down in the middle of the Nashi video? That was when I stopped covering Thunder Junction. I put out a sarcastic video making fun of it, and then I was like, that's not what Fantasy Geographic is about, and I deleted it. But yeah, that was so stupid. It was so dumb. So dumb. Yeah, you thought I was trolling, but that's exactly how it went. That's the reality. That's the reality. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. So yeah, everything Everything about Aetherdrift was just, we're making a racing set and we're going to say it's Magic. And that's what Edge of Eternities is going to be as well. Edge of Eternities is going to be Aetherdrift in outer space, essentially. Now, they don't have a bunch of slush art that they can use for it. They probably have some Unfinity art they can use for it. But ultimately, what Edge of Eternities is going to be like is, here's a rocket ship. Here's a fucking UFO. Here's a space station. Here's lizard men with laser guns. Here's astronauts in spacesuits. Here's all of that. And it's Magic the Gathering because we say all this is powered by magic. Yeah, it looks just like a laser blaster from a spaceship, but it's firing laser magic. That laser wasn't fired by technology. It was fired by magic. Oh, and the fire, the afterburner or whatever that's coming out of the thrusters, that's magic. Like, that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. And we're going to have Tezzeret there, and I presume Jace there from Disintegrating. I don't know if Nicol Bolas will be there because they made the culmination of the Tarkir story Nicol Bolas escaping. But that wasn't the plan originally because Nicol Bolas isn't shown anywhere in the set. It's not part of the story. They just decided the Dragonstorm arc didn't matter, and the big deal was going to be Nicol Bolas. Nicol Bolas is back! Blah, 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 blah. Have a panic attack. Millmaster Super Chat said, if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be for me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. What is that? Is that Golden Girls? You're a friend and a confidant, right? Or is that Designing Women? What is it? Come on, there's got to be some dinosaurs like me who watched cable TV back when that was the thing. What up, Drunkle? What do I think of Loot? Oh, Loot is forced garbage. I mean, he's literally... Look, there's Loot in a prison right there. Okay? I collect imprisoned Loots. Loot is forced marketing. Garbage. So yeah, him being sad in a cage. Look how sad he is. Look how sad he is. Didn't see Loot in a prison. Listen, man. Listen. Loot tried to kill me, bro. For real. For real. I have documented proof. Roll the clips, people! Pull over! I heard they like Loot in prison. So yeah, we've got verified proof that Loot tried to take me down, bro. Tried to take me down. He tried to take me out, but he didn't. I'm even wearing the same sweater as I was in that. Oh. Dante, nuh-uh, that wasn't no AI, buddy. That's handcrafted. I hand cranked it myself, dude. All right? Made by yours truly. Yours truly. So yeah, we're going to the Edge of Eternities. We're going to outer space, right? Is this where we're going to see the Fomori? The Fomori is the race that Loot comes from. But think about it. They did the Dragonstorm arc for like 6 sets or something like that. I don't even know how long it went on for. But like the last year and a half, something like that. What up, Nishimoto? So there's no payoff to the Dragonstorm arc at all. Like no payoff. None. Literally nothing. If you were interested in what it meant, it means nothing. And now Nicol Bolas is back. What's going to happen in space? Who cares? And what does this mean for the Lorwin story? Lorwin was supposed to come out this year. Lorwin was supposed to come out. Lorwin was supposed to already be released. Remember when they did the Secret Lair Super Drop that had the Lorwin light box in it? Where it had the special light box lands for Lorwin? That's because we were supposed to go back to Lorwin this year. But they pushed Lorwin to next year because they had no faith in their in-universe stuff. They got rid of a set that would be closer to Tarkir in favor of Universe Beyond and jank like Aetherdrift because they're crackheaded idiots. So we ended up with this situation where Lorwin got shunted to 2026. So where does Lorwin's story fit into anything now? Is it going to mercifully be its own self-contained thing? Like, was Lorwin supposed to be... Lorwin would have been, chronologically, what happened after Aetherdrift, but before Edge of Eternities. So now, are we going to get a written story that has nothing to do with what it shows on the cards because the cards were actually created in that time frame, right? Just Transcendence. What's that one about? The name is familiar. What up, Invader? Will Lorwin not be its own thing? Lorwin was supposed to be out earlier this year. So I don't know what Lorwin's going to be. All I can say quite comfortably is that what you knew about Lorwin mostly won't apply. So don't expect the elves to hate eye blights anymore because they'll have learned that that's wrong, right? Don't expect the Kithkin to be distrustful of outsiders because that's xenophobia. That's wrong. Like, they're not going to be allowed to have any of the flaws that aren't acceptable to people on Twitter. So everybody, it's the same way that, check it out, the zombies on Amonkhet, everybody's friends now. The zombies on the Sultai zombies on Tarkir, everybody's friends now. It's all good. Everything's nice. Johnny Depp and AI and what he does with it when people try and stop the AI. No, I don't think I've seen that, actually. Taveri, I have wished that Wizards used AI to write their story just because I feel like... what am I trying to say? I'm all for them using technology to aid in writing their stories if it will pull out insane inconsistencies in their own stories and go, you can't do this. It doesn't make any sense. You can't say that Ren was caught by somebody here falling when she already fell and landed on the ground here. Unless you're telling me that she bounced like a Super Bowl. Somebody can't catch her later because she already fell. She's already laying on the ground. You can't have her caught mid-air after she's laying on the ground. That's not how fucking physics works. You know? Sheba, what? For the Llanowar? Llanowar have nothing to do with Lorwin. What the fuck are you talking about? You're saying thanks to the Llanowars, it's why you say it's a blight to your eyes? That doesn't even make any fucking sense. Christ says, I swear to God, if we get a third off-screen commie revolution, Lorwin. Yes! You know what? That's probably exactly what's going to happen, too. That's probably what's going to happen. Transcendence is great. Hold on. Let me write this one down. Let me write it down. I don't think that I've seen it. Maybe if I look at the like the movie cover. Sorry, talking about magic lore has eaten my brain. Transference. Oh no, this doesn't look right. It's Escape the Dark from 2020. It doesn't show Johnny Depp, right? Is that the one? Or is there a different one? Okay, the one with Johnny Depp is 2014. Morgan Freeman. Oh no, Transcendence. No wonder it's not Transference. Derp. I wrote down the right name, but I googled the wrong name. Jason, you don't get how or why they stopped respecting their own IP? Well, it never really took off the way they wanted it to. And they got pissed after War of the Spark because it's hilarious. War of the Spark got torn apart, and rightfully so. And Wizards got miffed about it. And they went, we're not releasing the Theros story. You can suck eggs. But the War of the Spark story, like what they did was super insulting. It was super ignorant. They hired 2 different people to write the story. And the guy who wrote the first half wasn't done in time. So they went, what do? We don't have the book done in time for the release of the set. And so some genius went, what if we just sold the second half of the book as the whole book? What if we did that? So that's what they did. I have it. I have the War of the Spark novel. And one of the big plot points in the War of the Spark novel is Nicol Bolas kills Niv Mizzet. Nicol Bolas kills Niv Mizzet. Niv Mizzet has been running around making all kinds of preparations for his own death so he can be reborn as the living guild pact, basically. Like, that's Niv Mizzet's long plan. To survive Nicol Bolas killing him, to turn around and come back as the living embodiment of the guild pact. That's the plot, right? So, pretty epic concept, actually. Setting up for your own death to be ready to come back afterwards. Yo, fucking Niv Mizzet's a Draco genius. So, and Nicol Bolas is pretty smart, but Niv Mizzet manages to outsmart him, right? It's got vat-grown version of himself ready to come back. So, that's going to be pretty epic, right? Nicol Bolas facing down against Niv Mizzet. What's their titanic battle like? Oh, we don't get to see it. Because the story starts with Niv Mizzet already fucking dead. And his soul is trapped in some kind of spirit box. And the story starts with him and Ugin talking. The spirit dragon said to the dragon spirit. And the dragon spirit said to the spirit dragon. The spirit dragon said to the dragon spirit. Spirit dragon, dragon spirit. Blah, blah, blah. And just like, what is this? I'm so confused. Am I supposed to know who these people are? What the hell's even going on? You don't get to see Niv Mizzet get killed. It just that was in the first half of the book, so whatever. So it just goes spirit dragon to dragon spirit to spirit dragon. And then we cut over to Teo. And our introduction to Teo is him talking about animal farts and how much he loves indoor plumbing and toilets. And I just stopped reading. I was like, I'm not reading this garbage, bro. I'm not reading this trash, you know? So yeah, I mean, they got rightfully shredded over that. And then they just went, we're not going to release the Theros story. And they put out 16 sentences that were the Theros story. Elspeth fought many battles and won them all. And she stuck Erebos under a rock. Okay. Oh no, sorry, not Erebos. She stuck Heliod under a rock. Okay. And then she left Theros forever. Okay. And what's his name? What the hell's his name? Kala something? Why can't I think of his name right now? There was a being that was manufactured by Clothice, the goddess of fate. It's Kala something. Kala's fragilistic super dumbadocious. Calorix was his name, maybe? Something like that. So anyways, he was made by the goddess of fate to chase Elspeth. So Elspeth leaves Theros, and then Calix wants to chase her, but he can't because she planeswalked away. So he just decides to become a planeswalker because he really wants to, and then he just becomes a planeswalker and leaves. That's it. That's it. Elspeth had the Shadow Spear. How'd she get it? What about it? Who knows? The next time we see her, she's on She's on Capenna. We see her on Capenna, and she's working in a laundromat or whatever because she's trying to figure out who she is. And so she's just working in random businesses trying to figure out who she is. And some street toughs come in and beat up the guy who owns the business. And she's like, hey, leave him alone. And they're like, shut up, you crazy dame. And then even though she's a planeswalker with a bunch of magic, she runs away from them. And until she gets into an alley. And then she finds a lead pipe and smacks him with a lead pipe. And you're like, okay. And then the number 2 of the maestros, second hand man, right hand man of the boss of the maestros, shows up and is like, hey, you crazy dame, you did good beating up them dudes, and you should come and join our gang. And she's like, nope. But then she agrees to be their maid in exchange for a dagger. So then she dusts statues and stuff at the maestro's place. And they're like, you only got that dagger, but what if we gave you a sword? Like, will you work for us if you get a sword? And she's just like, I have to accept dirty jobs from this organization to get a sword. What are you talking about? You had a god sword and a shadow spear. Where is any of that? You can still planeswalk. You can leave and get anything you want anytime. Why are you doing this for a regular old sword? I don't understand. None of this makes sense. Nixless is there too, and he's just like, I need Halo. What do you need Halo for? To pay thugs. Okay, what do you need Halo to pay thugs for? To get Halo. What? So you're paying these thugs with Halo to get Halo? Yes. Okay, but like, you're a planeswalker demon. Basically, you're a god on this planet. So like, why don't you just kill whoever's in charge of one of the gangs? But this is my gang now, see? I kept wondering that. And then like the final installment of the story, he stands up and goes, I'm basically a planeswalker god, so check it. He goes over to the maestros and he fucking twists the leader of the maestros' head off. He just grabs Andrew, like, pop, and throws his head off and goes, I'm in charge of the maestros now, it's mine. And the maestros are like, okay. And then Nicholas is just in charge of the maestros now, which he could have been all along if he needed Halo or whatever. But anyways, he's in charge of the maestros now. But Elspeth has her Halo sword now. I got a sword with a big ball bag full of Halo. And so her and Nicholas face off. And then she like slightly grazes Nicholas's neck. And then he's like fucking Nelson from The Simpsons. You made me bleed my own blood. I'm leaving now forever. Bye. And he just fucking leaves. Why were you even there? Why were you even there? What was going on? The Capenna set was hilarious because they wanted a Law and Order, like criminals versus the police set, and we got 5 crime families. But then everybody on Twitter was yelling, I hate all the policemen. All policemen are bad. And Wizards went, we're going to take all the police out of our set. And so they did. I'm like, this screws up our entire story. Like, one of the main story points is the meeting between the 5 families. Doesn't happen in the written story. You barely see most of the families because they're the government. They're not crime families because there's no law. They're not breaking laws. They make the laws. They make the rules. They're in charge. You can't be the crime family when you literally are the government. It doesn't work that way. There's no law enforcement. And then that led to fucking the stupid Markov Manor detective shit. It's ridiculous. George, you gotta spend Halo to make Halo. That was the mentality. But you're just sitting there going, you're a super powerful planeswalking demon. You can, and this is a world where everybody's a crime family. So you can just walk in and fuck people up and take over. Like, you could just do that. They would just accept it because that's how their world works. So he could just take over all the crime families. He could have walked around and popped the heads off of every crime lord fucking dude and been like, this is my family, this is my family, this is my family. He could have unified all the families under him in a day. And there's nothing they could have done about it. Nothing. Nothing. It was so stupid. It was so dumb. So dumb. So yeah, what the hell is going to happen with Lorwin? Like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Jace has got loot and hinting at a multiversal reset. We can reset everything so all the stuff that we showed you doesn't count. I got news for you, assholes. Guess what? Markov Manor, Aetherdrift, Thunder Junction, you can't wipe that away like a shit stain, son. They permanently exist. They're permanently a part of Magic. And you just go, nuh-uh, take backsies. Nope. Yeah, I know, but we're resetting the multiverse. Okay. And what are you replacing it with? Even worse writing, because we're not putting any effort into stuff making sense anymore, and we don't have any talented individuals working for us who give a shit about any of this, right? Like, the Tarkir story, my God, I was talking to somebody at the face-to-face event on the weekend that just passed, and he told me, because I was talking about how bad their audiobook versions of the story are. And he told me for one of the installments, there was just 10 extra minutes of dead audio at the end of the recording. 10 minutes of dead audio. They don't fix the mistakes in them. Like, the story is so empty that Wizards' version, the audiobook versions, were like 25 to 30 minutes for each installment. And I went through the book. I went through the story lit, whatever you want to call it, and made my own videos about them. And they're 4 minutes long. 4 or 5 minutes. So 5 minutes to 25 minutes. That's the difference. They have 25 minutes. I have 5 minutes. And you get all the salient details. I'm not leaving anything important out whatsoever. And you end up with 5 minutes. And people accused me of my 5-minute videos of me dragging the story out. I literally removed 80% of the story that Wizards wrote and only covered the actual things that were transpiring in the story. And I still got accused of stretching the story out. Think about that. Think about that. I removed 80%, bro. 80%. Ridiculous. You can't compare Capenna to Earth. Capenna has no fucking laws. It has no laws. It's just crime families they're the government. So whatever they do whatever they want. There's no fucking crime. Crime requires a fucking law and order and governmental system. That's what it requires. You have to be a criminal, you have to break laws. There are no fucking laws on Capenna to break. There are no laws, guys, because they removed all the fucking lawmen. So it's not the fucking same at all. Hey, you know, the Earth government's corrupt. Great. But Earth has laws, you fucking dinguses. Earth, they're breaking fucking laws, right? You know what fucking law is. You know what policemen are. We have that shit. Capenna just doesn't. There's no fucking police. There's no laws, so the crime families can't be crime families. You can't. Jess, maybe there's unspoken rules. Unspoken rules aren't laws. The police don't fucking arrest you because of unspoken things you didn't know you couldn't do. You know why you get arrested? Because of shit put down in fucking law books. That's how it works. They write the fucking law, and then you break the law, and then you're a criminal. But if there's no fucking law, there can't be crime. There's no such fucking thing. No, Master, there's only one rule. Don't break it. Don't fart in the halo. That's the only rule. Who farted in the halo? I'm trying to snort this angel and also bang it up my butt cheeks. I'm going to do a handstand, and I want y'all to pour liquid halo right between my sweet cheeks, son. I'm going to swallow with my second mouth. Ness, yeah, your favorite part of New Capenna's and then the meeting of the 5. I mentioned that. There is no such thing. It doesn't happen. And they told us in the written story, all the angels are gone. There's no angels. And then you look at the cards and like, this angel stood in downtown. What? Yeah, she just stood still. She didn't move, so nobody noticed. What the fuck are you talking about? The angel was always there. She just stood still, bro. What? Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. DJ Longhair, you heard Halo. That's right, man. That's right. I can see your Halo. It's so much of the stories they've made in the recent times are garbage. Jess, they're not fucking... Look, man, listen. If they're... Let's fucking say we're going with your situation. An organization where they have rules that only apply to people outside of it or whatever. It still makes them the government. If there's no governing body setting the laws that these crime families are breaking, then they can't be crime families. The crime families are the ones making the rules. That makes them the fucking government. That's how that works. Dante, is it realistically possible Wizard says our main lore is whack and we're earning a reputation? Let's try doing unusually half-decent writing like we did before. I mean, I feel like there's no chance of it happening at all. That would cost time and money, and they're clearly leaning more into the, let's bring in other IPs. But they also want to be like, you should be excited about the TV shows and movies and stuff we're making for Magic. Where's the Netflix show you told us about 6 years ago? Oh, it got completely scrapped and was garbage. Oh, okay. So what are we supposed to be hyped about? You can't tell us a reasonable story in 7 fucking articles, but you're going to kill it with a show? I don't think so. Yeah, DJ Longhair, don't you love that? They're like, hey man, like, there's games for kids and whatever, but also all these demons are doing drugs and drinking, but don't make it look like you're your game store, that's what's going on! Okay. We're doing a 1920s fucking drug and booze-fueled style world with demons banging angels up their nose and stuff, but, like, it's for the kids. Like, you literally have cards that look like they're depicting martinis and shit, bro. Yeah, but look! Shut up! No, Jess, you can't imagine it's like Al Capone. Imagine Al Capone when there's no fucking government. There's no government. How do you not fucking understand this? What is not fucking coming through? This is what you need to crucially understand, you fucking idiot. There's no government. So imagine a world where Al Capone doesn't have to worry about what he does because there's no fucking government. It's not that the crime families are so powerful no one can put them in jail. There's no government. There's no one to put them in jail. There are no prisons, you fucking idiot. That's the reality. There's no government. They're not, oh, he's too powerful for us to do anything. There's no fucking government. They can just do whatever they want. They're the government. Whoever is the most powerful and is in charge is the fucking government. That was these families. They're not fucking crime families. They're not crime families. It's not, you have to have a fucking government and a legal system for there to be fucking crime. So it's like Al Capone and these too powerful to be touched. By who? By who, you fucking magoo? He'd be the government in this scenario. If you want to go with Al Capone, under this imaginary scenario, Al Capone is in charge of one of the 5 bodies of the government. Tell me how he's a fucking criminal now, with no fucking laws, and he's not breaking any laws. How is he a criminal? You can't be a criminal if you don't break laws. It's what the fuck? You can't do math if you don't have numbers. Like, I don't know how to make this more fucking simple. It's intermission time. It's intermission time. There's no fucking government, like, above them. None. Don't be a dink. Use my Amazon link. When Hatcher goes for a drink, bookmark that Amazon link. Don't be a bitch. You gotta scratch that itch. Bookmark that Amazon link. I got fucking bills to pay, y'all. Use my Amazon link. This is good. take some work. Don't be a dink! Use my Amazon link. When Hatchet goes for a drink, bookmark that Amazon link. Don't be a bitch. You gotta scratch that itch. Bookmark that Amazon link. I got fucking bills to pay, y'all. Use my Amazon link. This is gonna take some work. Don't be a dink. Use my Amazon link. When Hatchet goes for a drink, bookmark that Amazon link. Don't be a bitch. You gotta scratch that itch. Bookmark that Amazon link. I got fucking bills to pay, y'all. Use my Amazon link. This is gonna take some work. Don't be a dink. Use my Amazon link. When Hatchet goes for a drink, bookmark that Amazon link. Don't be a bitch. You gotta scratch that itch. Bookmark that Amazon link. I got fucking bills to pay, y'all. Use my Amazon link. This is gonna take some work. Don't be a dink. Use my Amazon link. When Hatchet goes for a drink, bookmark that Amazon link. Don't be a bitch. You gotta scratch that itch. Bookmark that Amazon link. I got fucking bills to pay, y'all. Use my Amazon. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm just gonna be like Barley. I have too much yelling about the government in Capenna. I'm just gonna go on my phone. I have a medieval game, obviously. I have a jousting game, obviously. Oh man. Oh man. Nishimoto, you wasn't think this weekend use my Amazon link? Hell yeah, buddy. Hell yeah. That's the way to do it. Use that link. So yeah, Magic Lore has been getting just dumber. Dumber. Very dumb. Very dumb. And it tweaks my sack, bro. Because I pay attention. I read and absorb things. I love stories very much. I adore stories. Fuel for the imagination, right? And I pay attention to the details. So logical inconsistencies smack you in the ball bag. And you're just like, come on, man. Come on. Hey, Thompson with the super sticker. The weird little goobly controller. Bro, you scored that OCM, man. Invader, you stopped at Kamigawa. Yeah, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, right? Long hair, yep. Magic in space. Drunkle, you read article 1 of Tarkir and sighed deeply and stopped. I was like, okay, there's an actual story here. Not that much of a story, but there's some points. So, you know, I went through them. I didn't do Aetherdrift because I couldn't handle it, but I was able to handle the Tarkir. And I knew that I'm like sacrificing myself. I'll be up on the lore cross getting the nails hammered into me to save you guys, you know? Stan, do you feel bad you stopped following Magic lore when Lord of the Rings was coming out for Magic? It just doesn't feel the same anymore. You're just saving yourself a bunch of hassle, honestly. Totally. It's Magic lore is not worth engaging with on the level to the point where now Fantasy Geographic is feeling cast adrift, you know? It's feeling cast adrift. Because Magic lore is just abysmal. It's abysmal. Yeah, Dante, it hurts your soul. You got into Magic because of the wondrous art and settings that were created. It's true. Now we don't get unique worlds anymore that are enjoyable. We just get like Thunder Junction. Thunder Junction was so stupid. And it was not received well. The mechanics, the gameplay was received just fine. But the overall aesthetics of the world, the story, all of it was not received well. Because it's hokey garbage that doesn't even make any sense. And they just went, doesn't have to make sense why like 60 different legendary dudes are here. They just shut up. Shut up, idiot. It's cool. Go, yeah, I'm wearing cowboy hats and stuff. Why though? Why is everyone using Thunder? Look, we don't have to give reasons. We're not even going to put it a Planeswalker's guide. What? Listen, man, you know how much time we spent fighting with each other over the whole Cowboys and Indians thing? And then we just went, we could completely sidestep it by going, this place isn't inhabited. And it was never inhabited. I mean, yeah, there's cactus folk people who live here. But they came to life the exact moment people showed up and weren't here before. So technically there were no people. It's exactly the same time. Exactly the same time. Also, there are sentient, like, dragon people and stuff, too. Like, a cool. But where did... Shut up. There was nobody here. Also, Gisa and Giraffe raise up a gigantic undead army to stop this train. How? You said the world was not inhabited and was never inhabited, so there can't be a bunch of bodies here. So anyways, all these body zombies come up and they stop the train. Ugh. What? You said there's nobody. Shut up. That's what happens. And then later, Gisa and Giraffe, they find this graveyard. Okay. And they see a bunch of tombstones and stuff, and they're like, it's gotta be a trap because this place has never been inhabited, so there can't be dead bodies here. No, but you two just over here earlier in the story, you raised a bunch of undead to stop the train. Yeah, we did. But now you're saying that the graveyard can't be here because bodies can't be here because nobody was here before. Yup, that's what we're saying. So why didn't you raise these objections before you raised the dead that totally didn't exist but somehow existed? Listen, what did you want us to do to stop the train? Have Rakdos stop the train? How would Rakdos stop a train? Like he does in the trailer where he jumps on the train and stops it? Hold on. You think we're gonna have the demon that's part of the posse who stops a train in the trailer stop a train in the story when we could raise undead that don't exist and we'll say later in the story don't exist? Are you stupid? That's way cooler. Whole bunch of zombies because we had this art with zombies on a train, so that's what happens, idiot. What up, DB? Kentucky did jesting around your mind tonight. What's he talking about? I'm talking about the magic lore. Oh, that's right. The flavor text from that one card. They're like, there were never any natives to this world at all, and nobody gotten rid of or anything like that. It's a completely uninhabited world. And then they're like, we got this awesome flavor text to own people, where this guy comes out and he's like, you think you own land just because it's drawn on a map? You don't own land. You own an idea. It's like, you can't own an idea, idiot. And also, nobody lives here. This is a completely uninhabited world. So yeah, you can just show up and say this land's mine. Nobody lives here at all. Nobody. Literally nobody. It's up for grabs. No, but you own an idea. How do I own an idea? How do I own it? Like, can I own the idea of a cheeseburger? And that means that you just can't think of cheeseburgers, you fucking idiot. Whoever wrote that flavor text is a fucking moron who probably tried to suck themselves off after they wrote it, going, man, am I smart. I showed them. And it's like an intelligence test. If you read that and you think that's deep or smart, you're a fucking loser and a moron. That's what that means. If you read it, well, wow, that's cool. You are a fucking fool and shouldn't be allowed to procreate because we don't need more fucking dum-dums on the planet, bro. Yes, they brought the dead from home. I wish. Next thing you know, they'll take my thoughts away. Please, that song, take my breath away, take my thoughts away. Yeah, there you go. Just says, if he's ever taken over my mind, you'll know, because shit will get wild. Paint myself purple and run pantless through the streets. I'm this close to it anyways, thinking about the magic lore, bro. Oh, sweet lordy McGordy. So yeah, where do we really go from here? Magic lore has been fucking progressively worse set after set. Bloomborough was all right. The most you could say for Bloomborough was it was a bit rushed, but that seems to be the hallmark of all their stories now. The fucking story just goes, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Final installment. Bam, 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 bam. You know, like, you know how I said that all of my lore videos are like 4 minutes long or whatever? The final installment's like 8 minutes long because twice as much stuff is going on. Invader, the techno historian's story is going to be more fucking interesting. I mean, I don't know if I would say full on story because it's just like a backstory concept, right? But the techno historian is somebody who forfeit his humanity, sacrificed his humanity in a bid to restore his brother's humanity, and in the process ended up not just losing his humanity but losing himself. So he essentially has memories of his brother, but the memories are so damaged that he doesn't realize the undead. His brother's cursed to be undead, and he doesn't realize that it's his brother who's cursed to be undead. He believes that he was the undead one and has replaced his body with metal, right? Is mistrustful of people, is more comfortable in graveyards, sort of thing. Yeah. Anyways, we're working on the background story for Carly's character and my character, and they're going to be intertwined. It's going to be cool. I'm happy with what we've got so far. Drunkle space. Yep, we're spaceward bound, bro. We are spaceward bound. Oh yeah, my techno historians are right here. I'm stoked on the OCM that I got yesterday. My super shiny foily version. But yeah, basically Carly's character is going to be a dude from some kind of important family. His blood was going to be used for a particular ritual that went wrong, and so his family ended up getting sacrificed or dying, something like that. And he's obsessed with his lost family, and his brother is obsessed with restoring his humanity, but ultimately has forgotten that he's even his brother, and his memories of his brother are his own fragmented memories of himself, because his body is all made out of fucking metal and techno circuits and all of that. So anytime there's damage to his body, it can permanently remove part of his memories. So because he doesn't know who he is, he knows the effects of losing part of him, anytime, like, let's say a dragon bites off part of him, he's got to slay that dragon and get that part of him back so that he can reintegrate it and not lose more of himself. So anytime a part of his body becomes dislodged for any reason, he goes berserk over the possible loss of who and what he is, you know? Millmaster, you're looking for a pair of cutoffs for a Cinco de Cuatro party. What? Why don't you just make them? Get the jeans and do it yourself, bro. Jess, a giant Santa sack full of bacon almost makes it worth it. Almost. Almost. Cthulhu, Jace was Ashiok all along for some reason. The reason for that was because they had the artwork of the Ashiok Jace transformation that was originally meant to be Jace was mentally tormenting Elish Norn, right? So he was basically pretending to be Ashiok so that he could mess with Elish Norn and make her terrified of Elspeth. But they changed up the storyline and what they were going to do. And instead of Elspeth sacrificing herself to the Silex, they had her run out into the blind eternities with like a hot potato and just throw it out into the blind eternities. And then Elspeth went outside the blind eternities, which doesn't even exist. And Sarah, the dead planeswalker who had been dead for thousands of years, just happened to be outside there. Also, Sarah can freeze time. So she freezes time and then hugs Elspeth, and Elspeth grows wings. What? It's crackhead nonsense. So that's what happened. That's what happened. Oh, DJ Longhair, don't even get me started on Mr. fucking Electro Guitar. All right, get in the van, buddy. I choose the tunes. So, yeah, man, Magic Lore is, it's in a rough state. It's in a rough state. And I have zero belief that it's going to get better. It doesn't seem like a real possibility, you know? There's no financial incentive that Wizard sees to make that change. And that's all they care about is the money, right? It's like if I just decided that whoever did the biggest super chat could abruptly change what we were talking about in the stream and just, okay, the stream's officially about this now. Whoever pays the most money, whoever's lord of the board dictates everything that's going on. And it doesn't matter how dumb or ham-fisted it is. That's the reality. That's what we're doing, you know? Invader, I didn't even know there was a version of the Predator movies Badlands, honestly. I have only seen 3 Predator movies, I think. Octopus, the people at Wizards don't even read the stories. They hire somebody to write them. Give them a bunch of points they have to put in. Like, Narset having a panic attack, I guarantee you, was mandated. That wasn't the idea of the writer. They were told that. They literally had a cultural consultant talk with them about the kind of artwork that Narset would have in terms of, we're going to have Narset portrayed in clothing that is comfortable for autistic people. That's it. They literally talked to a cultural consultant and it went, Narset's autistic, so how do we dress her and how do we have her behave? And that's why she has the panic attack in the inn. So that's what they spent their money and fucking time on. And they go, you have to insert this in the story. It has to be in there. It's ridiculous. The thing is, if you want to go to that length, right, and make your characters have additional depth, I can completely understand that. I don't have a problem with that being included. The problem I have is there's barely any time to tell the story. They go, well, we're only doing one set. We're not doing blocks anymore, so we don't have the room for a lot of stuff. When people asked, why didn't we get to see the Dragon Lords get overthrown? And Rosewater answered saying, We're only doing one set in a world now, so we don't have time to show everything. So you have to choose what you show, and it needs to be important. But instead, you get Narset having panic attacks, a Johnny over and over lamenting about how he was once a Phyrexian. I can't do anything because I was a Phyrexian. I can't do anything because I was a Phyrexian. I can't do anything because I was a Phyrexian. Oh, story's almost over? Yeah, I can totally do shit. Who cares about having been a Phyrexian? Let's go. Like, it's so empty and meaningless. And the stuff they're spending money and time on does not add enough to justify its inclusion when we're getting to see nothing. Everything's happening off screen, and we're just told about its impacts. Oh, this had a big impact. Did it, though? Yeah, I just told you it did. Show us. It's a fucking story. It's funny, but show, don't tell. That's how it works. Don't have a character go, whoa, did you see Gus explode over there? Show us Gus exploding, right? And that doesn't mean visually. It means with words. Show us. Tell us about Gus exploding. Don't say some guy watched Gus explode. Gus filled up with gas. And then he went kablammy blowo. And his belly button slapped right over Elspeth's nose. And she started to freak out. She took a deep fucking inhale. And then she had a panic attack. And she tried to presume the gender of Gus. But he was too exploded for her to find what was in his pants. So... What? DJ Longer, what are you talking about? What's going on? Oh, okay. All right. I mean, yeah, that's a fucking troll post, right? I've seen that. I've seen that stuff in passing, man. Everybody's memeing. Well, they were memeing on that when it came out. We're way past Aetherdrift now. Now we're moving on to the next stage, right? Everybody's memeing on the stuff that's coming. The stuff that's coming. What up, Al? How you doing? Yeah, yeah, it's Bill Master. I mean, the stuff that's being made with the help of the consultants is... we're not moving forward. They're not moving us forward at all. It's empty corporate garbage that doesn't serve any purpose at all, really. They think it's going to make the money, and I don't see how having Narset having a panic attack and presuming people's genders ends up serving anybody's goals, making anybody enjoy Magic more, adding to the story, any of it. It's just empty. Goblin, here comes Space Legends. Space stuff is until August. So, we've got Final Fantasy. What does it go? Final Fantasy... Does it go Final Fantasy Spider-Man? Then Space Set? Then Avatar? I mean, I know Final Fantasy is next. And Edge of Eternity is in August. So... I don't know. The timeline is so crazy now. DJ Longhair, the Minecraft set's never coming. They tried. They tried really hard to make a Minecraft set. That was what the second Ixalan stuff was about. Lost Caverns of Ixalan. That is their attempt at Minecraft. It has the diamond pickaxe. It has crafting. It has minecarts. It has the three-headed skeleton that would have been the Wither. All of it. That was supposed to be a Minecraft crossover, and they couldn't make it happen. And they went, shit, we have to have some kind of crossover. So instead, they made a deal with the Jurassic Park people. And then they went, well, okay, like this was supposed to be a new world. Because we were told what went into Lost Caverns of Ixalan was originally supposed to be a new world. But they ended up putting it inside of Ixalan instead. So they made a crossover with Jurassic Park at the last minute instead. And that's why there's nothing that's actually Jurassic Park dinosaur-y to actually do with Ixalan specifically. Like the stuff that was made for it is all Minecraft adjacent. That's why they have the crafting ability and all that. Jurassic Park's not about that. So they made the crossover with Jurassic Park, and then they went, well, how do we tie Jurassic Park into something? And they just went, Ixalan has dinosaurs. Jurassic Park has dinosaurs. It's Ixalan. We'll just take this world and shove it inside of Ixalan. And that's what they did. That's what they did. Total, you ordered the Final Fantasy Collector Commander decks? Well, that's a pricey grab, man. Enjoy. Habanero Magic attempted a Minecraft crossover and failed. Yep, absolutely. They did not secure the rights to Minecraft, so that's why we got the Minecraft Lite stuff. But if you go over and look at the Minecraft set stuff, you'll see there's literally diamond pickaxe, there's mine carts, there's the crafting ability, the three-headed skeleton that is absolutely the Wither. Like, this isn't fucking coincidence. It's the same way they wanted Strixhaven to be Harry Potter, but that shit fell through, right? So long hair, yeah. I've heard the rumblings about Star Trek. I don't give it that much credence currently. It's possible. It's possible, but it's way more likely that it's Star Wars. Wizards already has a working relationship with Disney and has the rights to Marvel. Star Wars is a stone's throw away. Star Trek isn't putting out all kinds of new stuff. I mean, I guess they've had some, like, Lower Decks and Picard and stuff. Maybe Star Trek, but Star Wars feels a lot more likely. And the Star Trek stuff that people are trying to show around to go, this is what's going on. It's just some mock-up that somebody made. It's not real, you know? Will there ever be a Monster Hunter crossover with Magic? It's possible. It's definitely possible. Just, it's offensive to crackheads for me to say that what Magic writing is crackheaded nonsense because crackheads would do better. Total, would I ever do Final Fantasy lore? You know I really love number 6. I can't rule it out, although it's improbable. It's very improbable. When I think about what's going on with like my lore channel, I lean more into Dungeons and Dragons lore or other things before something like Final Fantasy, you know? Habanero, well, the thing is, when they work on this stuff, it takes them 3 or 4 years to get the licensing deals all sorted out. So, and a couple of years to get a set ready. Like, they work this, well, it doesn't take them a couple of years to get a set ready, but they work like 2 years out on this. So it's this whole intermoving thing where they're just, okay, we're going to try and get the rights, and if we can't, then we're just going to release it as its own thing. A Loot Crusher? There you go. I'm down with that. Now, the problem they have with Muragonda is that everything's vanilla. The whole point, the whole shtick of Muragonda is that no creatures have abilities there. So there's nowhere really to go with that anymore. They've already nailed down the plane's identity. And if they wanted to bring in things that weren't vanilla, they would fundamentally change the nature of the plane. And then it's the only hook they have for it is that it's all vanilla. And they pretty much used the only space they have left for that in Aetherdrift, by making those obscenely huge stat legendary vanilla guys, because Magic's power creep has gotten to the point where vanilla creatures may as well not exist. They're just, they don't move the needle. They don't move the needle at all. So Muraganda's, we're never going to get a proper exploration of it, you know? The time to do that would have been years ago. Now it's, the power level of Magic has progressed way too far. I don't think the current Wizards of the Coast is capable of making compelling stuff anyways. Habanero, Muragan, and Segovia are off limits as dedicated worlds due to their mechanical restrictions. While Segovia is off limits more so because it's pointless. Going to Segovia means nothing because everything shrinks down to a scale size. So from the inside, you're just going to feel like you're on any world. There's nothing to make it feel unique. Segovia is only unique when you bring things from Segovia outside of it, because the reverse doesn't happen where the small things from Segovia become large when you bring them out. So an angel that's 4/4 anywhere else is 1/1 on Segovia. So you bring it out and it's an angel, but it's like the size of a little fairy. And I'm like, okay, there's something to work with here, something interesting. But the reverse is anything goes to Segovia automatically shrinks down to its scale, and so it's just normal. Just, yeah, I mean, if they gave you an 8/8 for 2 mana, you could still do vanilla. That's the closest, where they did 3 mana for a 7/2, 2 mana for a 4/1, you know? But the days of vanilla creatures, the only vanilla creatures they can make now have to have gigantic obtuse numbers on them. Drungle, no, the 5 mana was for like a 9/7. That's how it went. What happens if Luke goes to Segovia? Hopefully he, I don't know, gets smothered in a brothel. I mean, from the outside of the world, he'd be so small you wouldn't see him, right? If you're outside of Segovia, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Anything that goes to Segovia just shrinks down to its relative size compared to the world, which makes it useless. Makes it useless. Jack, it's not how he goes, it's that he goes. I don't care how they get rid of Loot. I just want him gone. I'm tired of him being shoved in. A bunch of the writing for the Tarkir stories centered around Loot, where they're like, oh, Loot's running around and now he's crawling up in the bed with Chase and Vraska and falling asleep holding their hands. There's dragon storms and stuff going on. And you've spent almost no time with Sarkhan. You turn Sarkhan into a dragon, and then you just have him constantly off screen while his DPS, dragons per second rate, is going off the chart. He's got 100 more dragons. He's got 1,000 more dragons. Can we see any of this happening? No, he's a big threat. He's off doing stuff. And now he's going to have his dragons attack a building. What? Yeah, he decided the building's his biggest rival. Care to explain? No. Okay. What up, Spurl? I'm doing all right, buddy. How you doing? Luton is taken outside of space and time by demons and tortured for eternity. Now we're talking, Dante. Invader, yep, we did that one. He's like Poochie. He's like, I have to go. My planet needs me. Poochie died on the way back to his home planet. I mean, Loot is a space alien, right? He's supposed to be part of the Fomori, who are space travelers, and he's 10,000 years old, but still a baby, because these guys take tens of thousands of years to grow. Okay, so they just left this baby behind, no worries. This super long-lived race. Yeah, no, the guys who had him left him in the vault because they use him as like a GPS or something. Do you even know what story you're telling us? Shut up and buy the baby, idiot! Nah, man, look, I'd be fine with a fucking emotional discussion ending something. As long as it fucking made sense, as long as it connected. I don't need mindless action, bro. Habanero, you'd love the idea of traveling to Segovia as being a form of torture, like a normal creature would shrink magically as a torturous spell like body horror. I feel you, but going to Segovia would actually be like you wouldn't even tell the difference. You would feel no different. You wouldn't catch yourself shrinking. You would just show up there the same way on fucking Bloomborough, except on Bloomborough you go, oh look, I've turned into an animal. They just turned into animals instantaneously. They didn't see themselves turn into animals. They just still feel like themselves. Look down. Oh my God, I'm an animal. But on Segovia, it would be like, oh my God, look, I'm exactly the same. Nothing's changed about me. I don't even know this world shrinks me down. Baba, you're talking about spree spells? You can only choose options on spree spells once. So no. So no. Juglum, Loot Hammer 40k, shut up. L, correct. Loot is basically wizards trying to make a baby Yoda. That is accurate. That is accurate. Hasbro wrote down the lore is 250,000 baby Yoda dolls. That's it. Jack, yes. If you go to Segovia and leave, you're normal when you come back out. So that's the reason that going to Segovia doesn't do anything, you know? Habanero, taking somebody through the blind eternities with no magical protection they'd be lucky to survive. So yeah, that is a crazy way to torture somebody. The blind eternities will essentially destroy you. There's a few ways to travel through it safely. One is actually being turned to stone, apparently. That's right, Baba, you fucking cheater. Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, it's nutty how much things have fallen with Magic lore. Rubik's, what I think on Through the Omen Paths and Universe Within. Well, on one hand, it's going to be incredibly confusing to have the Spider-Man Omen Path stuff in parallel, going these cards are equal. On another hand, I don't care about Universes Beyond. It doesn't add anything to the Magic multiverse, so I presume they're going to be pulling a bunch of slush art that they haven't used already, which means we could get at least some small tidbits of lore expansion from different characters from different worlds. So that part to me is interesting. I prefer in-universe to Universe Beyond. So I think what they're doing is whack, but there's the potential for at least a shred of enjoyability, you know? Schlab, Dragonlance is a possibility. You will never see Dark Sun. You will never see Dark Sun. They will never do that. There's like zero chance. Shelton, how much have you missed? The majority, bro. You've missed the majority of the stream. You are very late. Later, Sheba. Spurl, at this point, do we even want more lore from Wizards? Well, think about the Amonkhet deck from the new Aetherdrift set. It was pretty sweet, right? We had a bunch of cool little bits of extensions on the lore based on stuff that they had created previously. So they already had this stuff made. So if they're going to bring stuff that they already had shelved, that already has the lore for it, cool. Because that was made in earlier times when things were done in a more sensical way, right? So I'm for that. But if it's them making up stuff now for it, that's probably going to be a lot weaker, you know? Baba Masha Super Chat says, yeah, well, it looked legit. Like, spend more mana to do more shit, so fuck me. Yeah, no. Spree is only once for each thing. There are cards out there that don't have the spree ability that let you do the same thing over and over by paying extra mana, like Multi-Kicker, for example. But Spree is not one of those. Spree is just one of each option. That's it. That's the upper limit. All right, thanks for the super chat. You're Lord of the Board, bro. So yeah, Dark Sun has too much of that slavery stuff going on. Dark Sun, oh, what the hell's going on with the camera? Dark Sun has that really cool concept of the dragons, right? Dragons on Dark Sun are not dragons as you normally know them in fantasy. Dragons on Dark Sun are gigantic life-stealing wizards, essentially, that have become these mammoth, physical, titanic beings that just automatically drain the life out of everything around them, which is a really cool concept. And to become a dragon, you have to consume the life force of crazy amounts of people. So, in one of the stories, there is this giant stadium full of people, and this wizard draws the life force out of all of them to become a dragon. Man, it's been so long. I wish I had those fucking Dark Sun books now. I do love me some D&D lore. There's a lot of depth to their older stuff. I imagine that the newer stuff has suffered a lot from the cut out anything that could offend anybody. And so they just remove without actually adding anything new. Because, well, somebody could be upset by this. We've got to remove it. Somebody could be upset by this. We got to remove it. It's like, okay, no more love potions and stuff like that. That's magic that would totally exist. Compelling someone to love you against their will. No, we replaced it with a potion of consent where someone will like you, but only if they already wanted to like you, and only if you ask them to drink the potion, and they say, yes, I'd like to drink the potion that says that I might like you. Oh, God. Roll a friendship throw. Okay. All right. Good job. Habanero, isn't Dark Sun the world where metal is practically non-existent, so basic iron weapons are absurdly powerful and rare? I think so. It's been a while since it's been decades since I read the Dark Sun stuff. I remember when I first discovered Dragonlance books at this used bookstore, and I became obsessed. I was just like, these are awesome. And so I would get the books, and then I would take them and trade them back in so I could get more books. And the old lady who ran the bookstore was really nice. She gave me a higher trade-in value on the books that I was bringing back than she would normally, because I was basically just like getting a book, taking it home, reading it, bringing it back or whatever. She was not trying to make money off of me, really. She was totally just trying to hook me up. I liked used bookstores for that. There was here's just a kid who wants to read books. We're going to, not everyone was like that, but a couple I went to, I could tell that they were like, okay, this kid doesn't have much money, and he just wants to read these books, so we're going to make it happen. It was awesome. I loved it. I loved going down to the bookstore and just looking at the different options and getting it. Oh, what is this? What is this? Flint Fireforge and Gully Dwarves? He becomes king of the Gully Dwarves. Oh, but he hates Gully Dwarves. What? I gotta read this, Rubik's Aetherdrift was more than kinda lame. It was ultra lame. Aetherdrift is a real low point for Magic the Gathering, for sure. Jack, a friendship cantrip on your half-elf? Well, listen. I can counter that by just saying no. That's how that works. Magic doesn't work on me unless I want it to. Mago, thoughts on the Final Fantasy set? Don't really like Universes Beyond being in Magic, but I do like Final Fantasy, so at least I'm going to enjoy that more than I will, for example, Spider-Man. That's it, Jack. He stared into my soul and denied consent. Well, he can't stare into my soul because I didn't consent to that. So, he can look at my outside, but my soul is inside. So, you can't penetrate me in any way, especially not with your gaze, bro. All right? Do not consent. Consent withdrawn. Well, man, I can't be the only YouTuber that falls under those conditions, but it's nice of you to say that I won't sell out for views or fames and stays at my humble level. I like what we're doing. We're having a good time. I don't feel like chasing with a bunch of... There's so much fake shit on the internet, bro. Like, there's so many things that I start watching and like 10 seconds in, my brain goes, this is so fake. It's all staged. Why? Goodbye. Just click. I can't. I fucking can't. Larry, you're going to go to your local game store and overslept. What are you doing? What are you doing? Mako, you want Magic the Gathering characters in your game of Magic? Agreed. Agreed, bro. Larry, you think they're trying to cater to kids and it's just not working? They're absolutely trying to make it more appealing to kids. That's part of the loot approach. They've been grinding off some of the darker edges of Magic. That's why the zombies now are pretty purple wearing friend zombies. Friend zombies. Like, it's definitely being kidified in a bunch of ways, man. They don't like the fact that their average customer is like fucking 30 years or older, bro. So how do we get the kids to buy this shit? Kids can't read and don't like math. That's true. Drunko, you hate people using fake announcer voice and whatnot as well. Yeah, the fakeness wears on you, bro. It wears on you. It's empty, you know? Rubik's, you already missed it. They did a Hot Wheels inspired secret lair. They've already done that. Do I like turn-based games? Some of them, Spurl. Yep, some of them. All right, my friends. Thanks for coming and hanging out. It's been a chill time, mostly. I mean, I did a bunch of yelling, but, you know, that's part of a chill time for me. So, have a good one. Watch out for the chainsaw, man. He's going to cut your ball bag off, and he's coming right now.